là où le business il explose littéralement, c'est quand en fait tu commences à contribuer à impacter les gens, à changer leur vie et à voir les résultats que tu apportes grâce à ton produit et ta transformation. Pour ceux qui, il y a 50-50, il y en a qui n'ont pas de business, d'autres qui ont un business. C'est quoi son conseil pour les deux parties de l'audience?
So those who are getting started, there's some people that can just start from scratch and build a whole business, but sometimes it's really hard. I think what's smarter a lot of times is to figure out, like, in the business, there's a lot of things in a business, right? There's the advertising, there's copywriting, there's presentations, there's coaching, like there's all the different skill sets. What I would recommend is figure out which skill set gets you the most excited and go master it, go learn it, go understand it.
C'est parti, let's go. Hello,
Hey.
Russell. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ok, nice. Ok, donc je vais essayer de vous traduire en direct ce que dit Russell. So Russell, just to tell you, I will try to translate each time you speak because the majority of the audience don't speak English. Okay? So la grande majorité d'entre vous, je sais que vous parlez pas anglais, donc je vais essayer de traduire ce que dit Russell en temps réel. So yes, let's go. How are you, Russell?
I'm doing so great today. It's so fun to be here with you guys.
Bon, il va super bien. Il est hyper content d'être avec vous en live. There is so much love in the chat. I don't know if you see it. Il y a plein d'amour dans le live. Okay, so Russell, the main subject today is one-to-many selling, as you know. So just for the beginning, can you just introduce yourself? So, est-ce qu'il peut juste s'introduire et se présenter rapidement parce que je sais que certains d'entre vous le connaissent pas.
Yeah, so as you said, my name is Russell Brunson, and I got started in this business about 25 years ago when I was in college, and started learning about making money on the internet, and back then it was before we had webinars or one-to-many present, any of that kind of stuff wasn't happening back then. And then
il a commencé quand il était au collège. Il a démarré il y a plus de 20 ans maintenant, et ce monde, encore une fois, du webinaire, tout ça. Ça n'existait pas du tout, donc c'était complètement nouveau pour lui. Il était vraiment le pionnier de sa génération sur le marketing digital.
Yeah, and then for the last 20 years now, I've been playing this game, and it's been so much fun. 10 years ago, we launched the company ClickFunnels, and which was fun because then we started teaching entrepreneurs how to use funnels, and then we started teaching them how to sell one-to-many and how to do events and webinars and challenges, and it's just been the greatest ride of my life the last 20 years.
Donc ça fait plus de 10 ans maintenant qu'il a créé ClickFunnels, qui a accompagné des dizaines de milliers d'entrepreneurs, et aujourd'hui il a pu les aider à créer des tunnels de vente et surtout à vendre one-to-many. So I know that one-to-many is I think one of your favorite subjects in the world. Je pense que savoir vendre one-to-many, c'est un de ses sujets les favoris au monde. So in your opinion, Russell, what makes a one-to-many presentation or a webinar truly powerful today? Sorry for the English. So, qu'est-ce qui fait qu'un webinaire peut vraiment impacter aujourd'hui? Qu'est-ce qui fait qu'un webinaire marche encore si bien aujourd'hui?
Yeah, so for me, I'm very introverted. So when I first started trying to sell, I would try to sell face-to-face or on the phones, and it gave me a lot of anxiety. I didn't like it at all. And then I went to a seminar, the first time I ever saw it happen, where I saw a speaker on stage and he made a presentation, and there were about 500 people in the room, and 50 people ran to the back and bought the guy's product. And I was like, I want to learn how to do that. That's better than talking one-on-one or talking on the phone to somebody else.
Well, en gros, lui, il est très introverti. Donc, il déteste pouvoir être au téléphone avec quelqu'un, etc. Il n'est pas du tout à l'aise. En fait, c'est un introverti. Et la première fois qu'il a craqué le code en fait, du one-to-many, c'est qu'il était dans un séminaire, parce qu'à l'époque, il n'y avait pas de webinaire. Et donc, il a vu les gens courir au fond de la salle, acheter le produit, parce que le gars avait fait une offre en direct. Donc, c'était une conférence, et les gens ont rush à la fin de la salle. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, so for me, I saw that the first time, and I was like, I have to learn how to do this. And it took me a long time to trial and error and practicing. I had to go to a lot of events and hire a lot of people for coaching to learn how it was happening. But after I understood it, then it was really fun. Every time I'd have a new product I wanted to sell, I would sit down, I would reverse engineer, how do we create a presentation that is going to get the most amount of people to buy if you're on a room or on a webinar or a teleseminar. And it became my obsession for the last, probably 15 years or so that I've been just geeking out on, trying to figure out better ways to make it convert better and how to persuade more people and influence them. And it's a really fun like art and science you can learn.
Et ça fait 15 ans qu'il est maintenant obsédé pour comprendre comment c'est possible d'amener un maximum de personnes dans son événement one-to-many, dans son séminaire, et surtout vendre un maximum. Et ce qu'il faisait, c'est qu'il analysait chacune de ses présentations et il venait décortiquer étape par étape, c'était quoi les éléments clés qui faisaient que derrière, en fait, il arrivait à vendre un maximum. So nice. And so, do you believe in 2025 and 2026, one-to-many selling and webinar can be adapted in any niche? Est-ce qu'il pense qu'aujourd'hui, la vente par webinaire marche dans n'importe quelle niche et ça peut être adapté pour tous les business, like any business?
Yeah, it's funny when people come in my world, the first thing they're always like, well, that works for that kind of business, but not mine. But so far, we've showed it with every business that we've tried to work with. So people helping marriage therapists and people doing weight loss coaching. We've seen it in chiropractors have done it. We've seen people who are trying to get money from VCs, like change their presentation for that. We've seen it in almost every market that you can dream of. We've seen it successfully working now.
Il l'a vu marcher dans tellement de niches, certains qui, dans la niche du divorce, qui sont sur le point de divorcer, d'autres personnes pour lever des fonds avec des VC, des chiropracteurs, et lui, ça fait 20 ans qu'il fait ça, et il a vu tous les business inimaginables grâce à la vente one-to-many et grâce au webinaire. Incroyable. So you still consider that the webinar is for you, for a beginner, is the fastest way and effective way to make the first sales and 10,000, 100,000. Est-ce que c'est la méthode la plus simple pour réussir à faire sa première vente, ses 10 premières ventes, ses 100 premières ventes?
Yeah, a lot of people, when they, they think that the easiest is going to be like, let's create something less expensive and we'll sell that, then have an upsell. And you can do that, but it's actually way more work. Like writing a book took me a year to write a book, right? Versus you create a webinar and you sell $1,000 or $500, something like that. I think it's the easiest way, especially when you have to do paid ads, because a lot of times with paid ads, if you're doing low ticket stuff, it's really hard to make the math and the numbers work. But when you're selling 1,000, 2,000, like more expensive things, it's just a lot easier. So I usually have everyone when I get started with me, like first thing you should focus on is creating a webinar that can sell like a more expensive thing, because I think it's the best place to start. It makes it so that you can afford ads, and it gives you the chance to spend 90 minutes with your future customers. And even if they don't buy, it builds a relationship with them and they're more likely to buy from you in the future. So it's one of the keys, I think, to launching any business.
Ouais, en fait, ce qu'il dit, c'est qu'il existe plein de manières aujourd'hui de faire de l'argent sur Internet. Lui-même, il a écrit des bouquins, il a passé des années entières. Tu peux de vendre des petits produits, etc. Mais en fait, c'est épuisant, surtout quand tu essayes de faire de la publicité en ligne parce que tu n'es jamais rentable. Et donc, le webinaire, pour lui, c'est ce qu'il recommande à n'importe quelle personne pour démarrer parce que ça dure 90 minutes et en 90 minutes, tu peux vendre des produits à 1000, 2000 euros et cartonner. So nice, incredible. And
je suis sûr qu'ils m'ont dit en direct, c'est vraiment direct.
So yeah, somebody is asking, is it in live, direct, like? Est-ce que c'est
We're live. What time is it for you right now?
On est en direct. What time is for you right? For us, it's like 11 p.m. 11 p.m.
Okay. It's 1 p.m. for me.
Il est 1h de l'après-midi chez lui aux États-Unis. So you're in Boise, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Il est à Boise, c'est là où il y a son HQ of ClickFunnels, son camp de base de ClickFunnels. So nice. So from your perspective, sorry, if non, ça, I've already asked this question. Est-ce que tu as une question à poser?
Non. Comment ils voient l'avenir des webinaires?
Okay, so how do you see like the future of webinar? Because we can see that the market is very competitive right now, especially in the US. So how do you see the future of the webinar, one-to-many selling extra in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Donc comment ils voient le futur des webinaires sur les prochaines années? Parce que c'est vrai qu'on voit beaucoup d'acteurs et de compétition.
Yeah, because there's more people doing it, like you said, there's more competition. It gets harder. But they still work. I think this is the big secret. Like a lot of people think I'm going to make a webinar and then they just kind of create a generic webinar. for me, in my community, I started calling it a dramatic demonstration, like something that's bigger, that's more exciting, something that's, that gets people excited. When you craft something that's a dramatic demonstration versus just a webinar, it's better. I don't know if you guys seen the Greatest Showman movie, but I love watching that because P.T. Barnum, like, he doesn't just put on a circus. He makes a big dramatic demonstration to get people to come to the circus. And that's what we do in our webinars, is make big dramatic demonstrations to get people excited.
Ce qui fait la différence dans les webinaires, pour lui, en plus de faire un webinaire, c'est de créer du drama. Les gens, quand il y a du drama, ils en parlent, ils sont excités, ils sont comme des fous, et ça fait une différence énorme. Et donc, le futur aussi, c'est de pouvoir réussir à créer des vrais événements, une vraie excitation autour de votre webinaire, de votre masterclass. C'est ça qui va faire la différence. Et dans le Greatest Showman, je ne sais pas comment dire en français, c'est un film. C'est un film où il y a du cirque, etc. Oui. Et il crée un vrai spectacle. Et donc, c'est ça le but, c'est de faire un show. So, yes, okay.
J'ai bien la question. From your perspective, if someone starts from scratch.
Okay, yeah. So, from your perspective, if someone starts from scratch, how long does it usually take to become profitable with webinars? Like, you see many people, many entrepreneurs, some success incredibly well, and some less. Like, what the key element for success? Qu'est-ce qui fait la différence entre ce qui cartonne? Quand est-ce que tu peux rapidement faire du profit grâce au webinaire? En combien de temps ça prend?
Combien de temps ça prend quand tu démarres de zéro?
Yes.
Yeah. The key things, there's really like three things I think that are the most important. Like, the first one is you have to create a really good offer. Like, if you have a great webinar, but the offer's bad, nobody's going to buy. And so for a lot of people, it takes a week or two to like figure out like what's the right offer that my audience really wants. That's the first thing I spend a lot of time thinking. Then number two,
le premier point, c'est vraiment de créer une offre irrésistible, une offre que votre audience veut. Ça, c'est une offre de niveau 10, on en a parlé, c'est le plus important. Et numéro 2.
Okay. And then number 2 is, after you have the offer, then it's creating the actual webinar, the actual sales presentation. And for me, that's the part that takes the longest usually, because I want to create something really good. With AI, there's a lot of tools nowadays that you can speed things up. But, I think for someone who's done this for a while, it probably takes 3 or 4 days to make a good presentation. For someone who's new, it might take them a month or two to put all the pieces in and make sure you have the stories and the offer stack and those things correctly. So that's the number 2, is creating that presentation.
Et le numéro 2, c'est de créer votre présentation. Donc voilà, le show, les slides de votre webinaire. Et donc ça peut prendre 3 à 4 jours de focus en termes de travail. Pour ceux qui débutent complètement, ça peut même prendre plusieurs semaines. Et donc ça, c'est le deuxième élément du succès. Donc 1, l'offre niveau 10, et 2, le webinaire. So nice, very nice. And what will you say to the people here tonight? There is like 5,000 people here. We know are adopting themselves, like they don't believe really in themselves, in their project, etc. What can be your advice? Ça peut être quoi son conseil pour toutes les personnes qui ont des doutes sur leur projet, sur leur business, sur leur capacité à réussir à faire des webinaires?
Qui se demandent si les webinaires sont faits pour eux.
Yeah, who wonder if webinars are for them, really for them.
Yeah, a lot of people, when you first start, it's scary because it's like I don't know if I'm ready to do this. I don't want to put my face out there. And what I found is that for most people, everyone has a superpower. I believe God's gifted everybody with a superpower. But the problem is that most of us think that our superpower is just common sense. Like, oh, of course, it's really easy to do. But when you are going to your dream audience, the thing that's so easy for you to do is really hard for them. And so when you start understanding, it's like, wow, I can actually help people. Like, for me, I love funnels. I can look at a funnel in 2 seconds. I know what's wrong with it. Like, it's instinct, right? Seems easy. But for other people, that's worth a lot. People pay me a lot of money because that one thing that's really easy for me is hard for other people. So understanding that everyone has a superpower, and the thing that you think is common is probably extraordinary for somebody else.
So nice. En fait, ce qu'il explique, c'est que il est persuadé que Dieu a donné un talent à chacun, et il y a plein de choses qui vous semblent basiques ou qui vous semblent normales, et en fait, vous pourriez aider tellement de monde par rapport à ça, par rapport à cette compétence, ou par rapport à la valeur que vous pourriez apporter aux autres. Et donc, il vous recommande de pouvoir prendre le temps de faire cette introspection et de comprendre vraiment qu'est-ce qui va faire, qu'est-ce que vous pouvez aider. Parce qu'il y a des choses qui vous semblent très basiques, très simples, alors qu'en fait, pour les autres, ça paraît insurmontable. So yeah, really nice.
Il y a pas mal de gens qui demandaient le troisième point qu'il n'a pas partagé.
And the third point, I think you say like 1 point, 2 point, and third point about.
Yeah, they're waiting for the number 3.
They're waiting for number 3. Yeah, exactly.
It's an offer.
Yeah. Tell the third point? I'll tell you the third.
Yeah.
Okay, so the third point was you have the offer, then you have the presentation, then the third is you need the funnel. And that's how you gather all the people together. So like, again, we talk about one-to-many presentation. The funnel gathers the many together so you can do the presentation. So it's a webinar funnel is typically what we do, or a challenge funnel. But that's kind of the third step. It's creating that funnel and then getting people to come and register through the funnel.
Ce qu'il explique, c'est que le troisième point, donc il y a l'offre, il y a voilà, la présentation, donc votre webinaire, les slides, et ensuite il faut mettre ça dans un tunnel de vente qui permet de convertir des inconnus en clients. Et ça, c'est hyper important.
Ils suivent, hein, t'as vu?
Yes. The audience is on fire. They love it. Est-ce que vous aimez, dans le chat, dites-nous dans le chat, si vous aimez du VIP Love, mettez-moi du chat un petit peu. Some fire in the chat. Okay, so nice. Okay, so, and could you share 3 key lessons or secrets like you have learned over your career and who truly change your life and your result? Like I love so much your sorry, I love so much your parkour on your ClickFunnels, etc. Every company you created. What the key lesson of this? C'est quoi les grands points ou les grands secrets?
3 grandes leçons qu'il peut nous partager, 3 leçons ou secrets qu'il a appris au cours de sa carrière et qui ont vraiment changé sa vie et ses résultats.
VIP Love for Russell in the chat.
Okay. So what was the question exactly? The question was about for a webinar or for success?
The key lesson and secrets that you learn and over your career, that completely change your results and your life.
Yeah. I think the first one is, for me and for a lot of people, when you first get started in business, you're starting because you want to make money, right? That's like why we started initially. And then what normally happens after you go through the process, start building your business, you start making money. And then you have the weirdest, it's like a very empty feeling where you're like, I thought I would feel really fulfilled if I started making money. And because of that, a lot of entrepreneurs stop the business because they're like, this isn't worth it. But the ones who succeed, who end up growing and scaling businesses, usually are the ones who, when they start realizing it's not just about making money, but then they start realizing their business is helping other people, and you see the success other people are having, and then that's what changes everything. And so the first shift is like, as soon as you can get away from like, how am I gonna make money in my business, to how can I serve more customers? Like, as soon as you start focusing on serving more customers, that's where your business starts growing, and then it's actually fulfilling, it's actually fun, and it's like the most exciting thing in the world. So that's kind of the first one I think that most people miss.
On démarre tous au début avec un désir égoïste de souvent faire de l'argent. On veut faire de l'argent. Et en fait, il s'est rendu compte que là où le business il explose littéralement, c'est quand en fait tu commences à contribuer à impacter les gens, à changer leur vie et à voir les résultats que tu apportes grâce à ton produit et ta transformation.
C'est une question intéressante.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Sorry. I'm not quite sure. Stop and go. I think the next one is really, when you start a business, a lot of times it's you as the entrepreneur and you have to learn everything, right? So you're juggling creating a funnel and driving traffic and doing the presentation and fulfilling the offer and all the different things. And it gets really lonely and it gets really hard. And most entrepreneurs, because they're smart and they work hard, they'll have success, but they get burned out easily. And so as soon as you start making some money, the first thing is like start building a team. Like, who are the people you can gather around you to help you achieve your goals faster? For me, when I stopped trying to be the solo entrepreneur who did everything myself and started bringing in a team, that took all the pressure off me so I could focus on things I'm good at, but then they could do the things they were good at. And it made it so we could start growing and scaling very, 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 very quickly. And so I think bringing in either employees or partners or somebody else that helps is something that a lot of people wait way too long to do.
Une deuxième clé qu'il vous donne, c'est quand vous allez commencer à faire de l'argent, à scaler, il faut tout de suite pouvoir s'entourer de partenaires comme s'associer avec Jeudi ou recruter une équipe qui peut vous aider, qui peut vous accompagner à grossir et impacter davantage de monde dès que vous allez commencer à faire de l'argent. Et avec les webinaires, ça peut arriver très vite. Okay. I have a question in the chat, which is interesting. Like, do you think like faceless webinar can work, because a lot of people don't work. They don't want to show their face extra. So what do you think about this? Il y en a beaucoup qui veulent pas montrer leur tête parce qu'ils pensent que c'est possible de faire des webinaires sans montrer sa tête.
I had a friend who he's from New York and has a really thick New York accent. He's hard to understand and he sounds angry. And he did a webinar and it didn't do very well. He made a couple sales, but he knew the offer was good. And he knew the pitch was good. Just he couldn't deliver it very well. So he hired a voice actor in the UK to re-record it. Took his script and re-recorded the whole script. And he put it back up there. He didn't show his face at all. He just had the PowerPoint slides. And he did it, and that webinar did $2 or $3 million, like crushed it.
Wow.
So yes, you can. Wow. I've seen it happen.
Wow. Donc, en gros, il a un ami new-yorkais qui a un vrai accent américain. Et du coup, en fait, il a fait son premier webinaire et ça n'a pas très bien marché. Il a fait quelques ventes parce qu'avec son accent, les gens, ils avaient du mal à le comprendre. Mais cet ami new-yorkais, il savait que son offre était bonne, il savait que le script de son webinaire était bien. Juste, son accent, ça ne le faisait pas. Et donc, il a demandé à quelqu'un d'enregistrer la voix, d'enregistrer tout le webinaire avec juste la voix. Il ne montrait pas sa tête. Et ça a littéralement explosé. Et le webinaire, il a rapporté entre 2 et 3 millions d'euros. Donc, un truc de fou. Insane result. So, it's possible. Because a lot of people, they don't want to show their face or, be public, etc. What can be your advice for this part of the audience? Il y en a beaucoup qui ne veulent pas forcément montrer leur tête ou être public, etc. C'est quoi ces conseils par rapport à ça?
Yeah. Well, it's even, we're testing it for myself because I do so many webinars and eventually I get tired. And so I was like, I wonder if I can get like actors and voice actors to do mine as well. And so we're actually testing that right now with a couple of them. So it's possible. I think a big part of it though is there's, your business long-term will do better the better relationship someone has with you. So if you're willing to show your face, more people will connect with you and then they're more likely to buy from you multiple times in the future because they have a relationship. My fear would be if you take your face completely out of it, the people aren't going to connect with you. Maybe they'll buy the offer because it's a good offer, but they're probably going to buy from you over and over again. They want to get to know you. And I think that it's smart. Maybe on the webinar you don't show yourself, but in the fulfillment, in the content, on a membership site, you show yourself more and more just to start building that relationship because that's how you get customers to buy from you a whole bunch of times in the future.
C'est intéressant. Il dit qu'en fait, oui, c'est possible et il l'a vu, c'est possible de cartonner sans. Mais ce qui fait qu'un business vraiment, il grandit, il explose, c'est que les gens, ils créent une relation avec vous et ils s'attachent à la personne que vous êtes. Et donc, oui, vous allez pouvoir faire de l'argent et peut-être beaucoup d'argent comme son ami new-yorkais si vous proposez juste une offre parce que les gens, dès que vous avez une offre au niveau 10, ils vont acheter. Mais si vous voulez vraiment exploser, les gens, ils s'attachent à vous et ils s'attachent à la personne que vous êtes. So, really nice. And another question for the chat, from someone who's just starting out, what's the best strategy to attract the right audience in the webinar?
Si vous avez des questions dans le chat, vous pouvez les poser.
Mettez-nous des questions dans le chat, vous nous avez posé des questions. Donc, pour quelqu'un qui démarre, c'est quoi la meilleure stratégie pour attirer des gens avec la bonne audience qualifiée dans le chat?
Cool. I think the best way, a lot of people go and try to buy ads immediately, but I don't like having that be your first step. In fact, for me, like when we launched ClickFunnels, we didn't buy any ads for 2 years. The first 2 years, all I did is I tried to find, we call OPA, other people's audiences, OPA, other people's audiences. So we tried to find who already has our dream customer. And so I would go to them and I would try to be on their podcast or on their YouTube video, or I would try to have them email their list about the affiliate, about the webinar. And then we would just split profits 50-50. And so that's how we built ClickFunnels from $0 to $10 million. Is we didn't buy any ads. Everything was coming, just us promoted, just finding people that already had other people's audiences, OPA. We took their audiences and promoted our offer, and we just did that, lined them up and kept going like crazy. So that's the easiest way to get started because then you don't have to buy ads. You don't have to worry about all those things. You just find somebody who already has the audience and then get them to promote your webinar.
Lui, ce qui l'a permis de passer de ClickFunnels de 0 à 10 millions d'euros, c'est qu'en fait, il a une stratégie qu'il appelle le Dream 100. Donc, c'est le rêve 100 où en fait, tu vas sélectionner des personnes qui ont déjà l'audience que tu veux. Donc, tu vas regarder c'est quoi sur les chaînes YouTube, les podcasts ou sur les réseaux sociaux, qui a ton audience, qui est à l'audience où ton avatar pourrait acheter ton offre. Et tu vas simplement contacter ces personnes et leur proposer de faire 50-50 sur les ventes qu'elles te ramènent. Et donc, ces personnes-là vont te pousser vers ton webinaire où tu vas pouvoir faire un webinaire avec elles parce que toi, tu connais le système webinaire Et Russell, c'est comme ça qu'il est passé de 0 à 10 millions d'euros avec ClickFunnels sans acheter de publicité. Il n'a pas payé de publicité. So really impressive. So nice. Okay. There's so many questions. Il y en a une. Okay, do you think it's possible to sell physical product in a webinar? Do you think it's possible?
Yes. So one of our students, her name is Jamie Cross. She sells soaps, and they're not really expensive soaps. They're like, $50 or $40 for some soaps. And so she tried to do a webinar. She tried to do a 90-minute webinar, and it was too much. It was overwhelming, and people didn't buy. So she shrunk it down to like a 5 or 10-minute webinar. But she hit the same beats, the same important parts that you would have in a webinar. She just made a small mini version of it. And she launched that, and her soap company went from 0 to $1 million in 8 months. And then she's scaled it to over $10 million now and selling soap. So 100% you can work with physical products too.
Wow. En gros, bon, il y a quelqu'un dans le chat qui a demandé est-ce que c'est possible de vendre des produits physiques. Et il dit qu'il y a une de ses élèves qui, lui, vendait du savon. Et donc, c'était pas très cher. Elle vendait des packs jusqu'à 40-50 $. Juste, au lieu de faire un webinaire de 90 minutes, elle a fait un mini-webinaire, un tout petit webinaire. Et elle a réussi à exploser son business. Elle a fait plus de 10 millions d'euros de ventes en vendant des savons. That's just insane. Oh, so really, so cool. So nice. Okay, and point 3, there is a point 3 or no?
I think we got point 3.
I don't know.
You remember?
I don't know.
I think the offer webinar or offer presentation and funnels. We got the 3.
We got the 3. Okay, it's good. Okay, so nice.
Celle-là, ouais,
Okay, so what are the main 3 skills people should learn and focus to succeed for you? I see you with Secret of Success, etc. Donc Russell, il a une autre boîte que ClickFunnels qui s'appelle Secret of Success, où il étudie le succès, c'est quoi les gens qui réussissent. I said in your with your other business, what can you tell? Sorry, what is the 3 skills people should learn and focus to succeed?
Yeah,
3.
3. Only 3. Okay. So the first skill set, I think the first skill set is like learning how to acquire skills, right? Which comes down to being willing to read and to study and to think. Most people nowadays don't think. They're on Facebook or Instagram and they're reacting, but they're not thinking. So you have to leave that and like actually sit down and read and then think. Like that's like the skill set. If you can master that, like the people that work for me that have most success are the ones who are really good thinkers. Like ask them a question and they think. And that's rare nowadays. That'd be the first thing is reading and learning how to think.
La première compétence à développer, c'est réussir à en fait, se former, investir sur soi, lire, apprendre. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, il y a tellement de personnes qui perdent le temps sur Instagram, Facebook. Et en fait, il n'y a plus personne, enfin très peu de personnes aujourd'hui qui se forment vraiment, qui prennent le temps de lire, de se former et d'investir sur elles. So, ça, c'est la première décision importante pour réussir, peu importe où vous en êtes dans la vie.
Yeah. The number 2 one would be what Napoleon Hill calls the definite purpose. So having like a thing that you're working towards. Most people, when you ask them what they're doing, they're just kind of like wandering around. And Napoleon Hill talked about that. And I remember for me, like when I was a wrestler growing up and I was just kind of wandering around until I saw one of my friends won a state championship. And I was like, that's what I want. I had a definite purpose. I want to be a state champion. And I worked hard till I got that. In business was the same thing. I was just kind of trying to make money on the internet. And I saw one of my friends made $1 million in a day, John Reese. And I was like, I want to do that. And so like I had something to work towards. So the second step of that, having a definite purpose, something you're working towards, because if you have that, then you can start figuring out all the steps. If you don't have that, you're just going to wander for a long time.
Le deuxième point hyper important, c'est d'avoir un but qui est clair, qui est précis. C'est ce que Napoleon Hill appelle definitive purpose. Et ça, c'est hyper important parce que, par exemple, Russell, quand il faisait du wrestling, donc de la lutte, en fait, il avait un but très précis d'être le champion de son état et il l'est devenu. Et à chaque fois, il a toujours eu un but très clair et très précis dans n'importe quel de ses business. Et si aujourd'hui, vous n'avez pas ça derrière, en fait, juste vous êtes une girouette, quoi. Donc, voilà. Nice.
All right, number 3. Don't get number 3. We'll get in trouble. The third one is whenever we start on a journey to like to go after our definite purpose, as soon as we start, there's the opposite reaction that'll come. Stephen Pressfield, who wrote War of Art, he calls it resistance. And so every time you try to be successful, you feel resistance that'll hold you back. Resistance makes it so you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. It makes it so you don't want to work hard. You want to goof off on your phone. And so you have to start noticing that resistance is holding you back and becoming aware of it, so that when it tries to stop you, you can smash it and keep moving forward. Because most people give into resistance, maybe not the first time, the second time, but throughout the day, they eventually just succumb to it, as opposed to figuring out how to break through it and continue on your path to your definite purpose.
Et troisième point, dans votre route vers votre objectif, vous allez avoir chaque jour, tout le temps, elle est tout le temps là, la résistance. On en a parlé d'ailleurs hier. C'est quelque chose qui va vouloir vous empêcher, c'est la force qui va vous empêcher d'atteindre votre objectif. Et par exemple, vous allez vouloir scroller sur votre téléphone portable ou vous éparpiller à droite à gauche, alors qu'il y a des tâches hyper importantes que vous devez faire pour avancer votre objectif. Et donc, vous devez être conscient de cette résistance et derrière, venir la couper avant que vous alliez sur votre téléphone ou quoi que ce soit pour avancer vers votre objectif. OK.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Russell. Okay. So, yeah, you wrote 3 amazing books.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about this trilogy, .com Secret Extra?
Yeah.
Il a écrit 3 books incroyables qui ont défini le marketing digital et du coup, il va vous en parler un petit peu parce que c'est l'auteur, c'est genre le père du marketing digital, quoi. Donc voilà. Read the black box.
Yeah. I don't know, I can't find them in my office. Where are they all going? Oh, here, one second.
Il la cherche. En gros, il a écrit 3 bouquins qui sont très connus. Bon, c'est en anglais, mais pour ceux qui peuvent le lire, je vous recommande à fond.
Peut-être des versions françaises. Hein.
Oui, il y a sûrement des
we got
let's go.
Okay, so the first one I wrote is called .com Secrets, and this one I wrote about the same time we launched ClickFunnels, about 10 or 11 years ago. And this was, back then, nobody knew what a funnel was. There was a small group of people that were doing them, but most people didn't know. So this was like me explaining, this is like the secret about the internet. The people making the most money, they understand this one thing, which is how to build a sales funnel. And so this book goes through all different types of sales funnels, how they work together. And it's everything I'd learned up to that point on how to grow a company. So that's book number 1.
Dans le premier bouquin, .com Secret, c'est le livre où en fait il explique tout ce qu'il a appris quand personne n'a encore faisait des tunnels de vente, etc. Et donc c'est lui qui a expérimenté. Il explique aussi avec son lanceur de patates là, Potato Gun, etc. Il explique toute la base de comment il a créé le concept de tunnel de vente et d'où ça vient. Donc ça c'est le premier bouquin que je peux vous recommander de lire.
Okay. Then book number 2, after everyone got really good at building funnels, the problem is that a lot of the funnels didn't convert. They didn't make any money. And I was like, how do I help people with this? And I realized the thing that most people were missing is they didn't know how to position themselves as an expert. They didn't know how to create an offer, how to tell their stories in a way that would get people to buy from them. And so book number 2 is called Expert Secrets. And it's all about that, helping people to find their voice. It's the messaging that goes in every single page inside of the funnel. It talks a lot about one-to-many presentations, how to craft a one-to-many presentations. But the goal of this was to help people so their funnels would actually convert and actually make them money.
So nice. Donc, Expert Secret, c'est son deuxième bouquin. Parce qu'en fait, il s'est rendu compte qu'il y en a beaucoup qui faisaient plein de tunnels de vente et ils n'arrivaient pas à convertir. Ils n'arrivaient pas à vendre. Et donc, il a écrit ce deuxième bouquin pour expliquer aux gens comment raconter leur histoire, comment créer une présentation one-to-many, comment devenir un vrai expert et comment avoir de l'autorité. Parce que si tu n'as pas ces éléments-là, et on va en parler, en fait, derrière, tu ne peux pas vendre. Donc ça, c'était le deuxième bouquin, Expert Secret.
Cool. And the third book...
Yeah.
So after people had a funnel and then they had their story inside the funnel, the next thing they need is more traffic. And so that's where my third book, Traffic Secrets, on how to get more traffic and customers coming into your funnels so you could sell them over and over and over again. So that's the third book in the trilogy.
Et ça, c'est le troisième bouquin qui explique comment ramener un maximum de personnes sur ton tunnel de vente pour réussir à avoir un impact qui est considérable. Et ça, c'est sa trilogie. And I think you can find them in French on Amazon or anything. So, vous pouvez le trouver in French translation, donc sur la traduction, if you go to Amazon or anything, I think so. So yeah, really nice.
Là, j'ai une question, c'est pouvoir raconter son meilleur webinaire, celui dont il est le plus fier, où il a fait le plus.
What's your best memory during a webinar, or the webinar where we made the most money, you know? C'est quoi le...
Yeah. Oh, there's been a lot of really fun ones. The one-to-many presentation I made the most, it was a couple years ago at Grant Cardone had an event in this huge stadium in Las Vegas, and there were 9,000 people in the room. And so that was my goal. I was like, I think I could set a world record doing it here. And so we did I had 90 minutes right before lunchtime. I did the presentation, and I sold a $3,000 offer. And from that, we sold 1,079 people. So I did like a little over $3.2 million in sales. And it was crazy because, again, it's this big, huge stadium. And so everyone like had to run up the stairways out into the hall by like where the hot dogs were at and the bathrooms. And then, and so we went back there, and then we did pictures with everybody who bought it. And so there was a line that wrapped around the entire stadium 3 times, people waiting in line to get a picture with me. That was the craziest one I ever did. That one was insane.
Il y a un de ses meilleurs webinaires, une de ses meilleures présentations qu'il a fait. C'était il y a quelques années dans un événement, c'était en physique, un événement de Grant Cardone qui s'appelle 10X Conference. Et en gros, il a fait, personne ne le connaissait, il a fait 90 minutes non-stop. Donc, c'est les gens qui ne le connaissaient pas. Il a fait the one-to-many presentation, donc sa présentation one-to-many. Et derrière, il a eu ce qu'on appelle un table rush. Donc, les gens se sont levés, ils sont montés en haut dans les gradins, etc. Parce qu'il y avait, c'est un stadium, donc ils devaient venir dans les gradins pour déposer leur bon de commande et pour pouvoir acheter, payer. Il y avait la queue dans les toilettes, etc. pour pouvoir payer pour Russell. C'est un truc de fou. C'était un des I think it's what the world record. So, c'est un record au monde. C'était incroyable. En 90 minutes, des gens qui ne te connaissent pas. Et en physique, it's incredible. So, so nice.
Après, une dernière question là et après on pourra finir.
Okay, so there is a lot of people like in the audience, and the 5,000 people. There is like half of the audience, they don't have a business, you know, and the other already have a business. What can be your advice for somebody starting and somebody who, you know, like struggling, or I don't know. Like, pour ceux qui, il y a 50-50, il y en a qui n'ont pas de business, d'autres qui ont un business. C'est quoi son conseil pour les deux parties de l'audience?
Yeah. So those who are getting started, there's some people that can just start from scratch and build a whole business, but sometimes it's really hard. I think what's smarter a lot of times is to figure out, like, in the business, there's a lot of things in a business, right? There's the advertising, there's copywriting, there's the presentations, there's coaching, like there's all the different skill sets. What I would recommend doing is figure out which skill set gets you the most excited and go master it, go learn it, go understand it, become the best in the world at that. And then initially go find an entrepreneur who's already successful and a business owner who's already successful, and go and then try to take your skill set and apply it to their business and have success with their business. Because that's going to help you start making some money, start learning the business, but then you'll have a chance to work with someone who's having success. You'll see what they're doing. You'll learn so much from that. It's one of the most valuable things. And then from there, you can decide, like, I like working internally inside of someone's business, doing the skill set that I love. Or you can be like, I want to build my own business, but I know I have this skill set, but then I need to find someone to do these other 3 or 4 pieces. Because very few people can do all the steps you need to run a business, right? Sure. And so it's nice to, like, become the best in the world at one thing, and then start finding other people around you to build a dream team. Kind of mentioned earlier that by building your dream team, you need to be really successful.
Donc, c'est des conseils pour ceux qui démarrent déjà, c'est de prendre une compétence et d'aller all-in dessus, de ne pas s'éparpiller à droite à gauche. Donc, par exemple, le one-to-many, et on bosse ça à fond. Et derrière, avec cette compétence, vous pouvez aussi aller travailler avec des personnes qui ont déjà potentiellement du succès ou que vous voyez comme des autorités dans votre niche. Okay, donc, mettez-vous focus sur un truc et bossez à fond sur ça. Et pour les personnes qui ont déjà un business, en fait, c'est de pouvoir recruter une équipe qui va être à ses côtés, qui va être dans les tranchées à ses côtés pour pouvoir grossir, grandir, parce que vous ne pouvez pas tout gérer. Et un entrepreneur, au bout d'un moment, il n'a que 24 heures, donc il doit apprendre à déléguer. So nice, Russell. And finally, like, if you could leave everyone here with one last thought, a mantra or a piece of advice or something you wish someone had told you when you were just starting out, what would it be?
Yeah. I wish that when I got started, somebody would have helped me to understand that I wasn't just starting a business or just trying to make money, but that, like, this thing that you are pursuing, this thing that you are creating, if you will put your heart and your effort into it, it literally can become like your calling, like your mission, like your purpose for being here on this world. I've had a chance over the last 20 years of doing this to work with millions of people all around the world, see people's lives get changed, and it's been the most fulfilling life ever. And I wish somebody would have told me back when I got started that like this thing that you're learning to do, this is your mission from God. This is what you were created to do. If you will pursue this, you will change people's lives. Because I see it now, but I didn't see it then. If I could tell all you guys that same thing, like you all have been called to do something special, and you can change somebody else's life if you're willing to go through the work, because it's hard work to be an entrepreneur. But if you do it, you have a chance to change a lot of people's lives.
Wow, so nice. Et en gros, il dit que pour lui, s'il avait compris plutôt que on a tous quelque chose dans notre cœur, on a tous une mission qui nous est donnée sur cette terre, de pouvoir changer la vie des gens, de pouvoir impacter le monde, de pouvoir apporter sa lumière au monde, et que s'il avait compris ça plus tôt, ou s'il avait fait ce travail de venir déployer tout son potentiel et de pouvoir rayonner et de pouvoir impacter un maximum de monde, ça aurait tout changé pour lui s'il l'avait fait plus tôt. Et il vous conjure de le faire pour vous, et il vous dit que ça va être difficile, qu'il va y avoir du travail et qu'il va falloir travailler parce que c'est dur. Mais par contre, il n'y a pas plus beau comme vie. Lui, il a vu des millions de personnes, il a travaillé avec des millions de personnes, il a vu des vies changer dans tous les sens. Et il n'y a pas plus beau et plus fulfill, il n'y a pas plus quelque chose de magnifique que voir toutes ces transformations qu'on peut créer grâce à ce qu'on peut donner et à la passion. Wow, so nice. And yeah. T'as une dernière question? Wow, so nice. Like final word, Russell, if you have like any final word, something for the audience to share. The chat is on fire. Mettez-moi de l'amour pour Russell, des flammes, ce que vous voulez.
I've seen all the fire emojis. That's so cool. No, I think, first off, thank you guys for letting me be part of this. It's so cool to see it. We actually had a chance. We went to France a year ago right now with my kids, and so we had a chance to spend time, which was so great. But maybe we'll have to come out and do a big event out there someday. That'd be fun to come and spend time with all your people and be with everyone. Because I believe that, this role of entrepreneurship that we're all learning and trying to figure out is the only way that the world's going to change in a positive way. I don't think it's going to happen from any of our governments or political stuff. I think it's going to happen from entrepreneurs like all of us who are willing to try to change the conversation and try to help people along the way. So proud of you guys all for doing this. It's such a cool thing.
Thank you, Russell. En gros, il nous remercie, il nous dit c'est incroyable. Il est venu en France l'année dernière et il espère potentiellement faire une conférence avec nous ou pouvoir vous rencontrer et rencontrer toute l'audience. Et lui, il est convaincu que c'est les entrepreneurs qui changent le monde. C'est pas le gouvernement, c'est pas toute la politique ou quoi que ce soit. Vous avez tous le pouvoir de changer le monde. Et donc, commencez à révéler votre potentiel. Thank you so much, Russell, for your time. I know how it's perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Russell. Take care of yourself, and thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Chat is on fire. So nice. Wow. Est-ce que ça vous a plu dans le chat?